In the past videos, we have hard-coded our data and used the assignment operator to store that. So where it says num equal 42, the equal sign does not mean equal, it means assign a value to. So it takes whatever happens on the right and stores the results in the variable on the left. So num equal 42, you read as assign the value 42 to the variable none. If I want to get information from the keyboard, which we do for a lot of programs and is very important, I take a variable and I assign it using the input statement. So name equals input, open close parentheses, is going to ask for information from the keyboard. And if I run this, well, it doesn't look like anything's happening. If I click down in my console, I've got a blinking cursor, but what's that blinking cursor doing? There's nothing to tell me. I can type my name in and enter. Of course, we've not done anything with it, printed it or anything. But the input statement was asking for information. Well, we want the user to know what to enter. So inside the parentheses in the input statement, you want to always have a prompt. So enter your name. Now, when I run it, well, before we do that, let's print and we'll use an F string and we'll say hello and whatever name is entered. And when I run it now, if I type Bob, it says hello, Bob. So the input statement lets me enter information from the keyboard, store it in a variable, and then I can work with that data. What kind of data was Bob? It was a string. I think it's kind of obvious it was, but let's print in an F string and we'll say name first is type, and there is a function called type that will take any item of data and tell you what data type it is, and the type of name here. And when we run it, it asks for the name. And it says, hello, Jane. And then the second print statement says, Jane is type class string. Well, we knew a name would be a string, so that makes sense. Well, let's come in here and say num is equal to input. Enter your favorite number. That's okay. And let's print num and the type for it. And sometimes PyCharm doesn't really think what I really want. So now we say print num is type num, and it'll ask for my name or a name. Say Sam this time. 75. And okay, Sam is a string. That makes sense. 75 is a string. Shouldn't it be an integer? The input statement always accepts the data as the type string. So anything you enter with the input statement is going to be considered a string. Now we can change that, and I can say num equals int num. And then if I print the type for num, and let's enter Bob and 44. And now it says for the second one, it is type int because I converted it to an integer. If I enter something such as, we'll do Joe, and for the number, I put a string in, I'm going to get a traceback error. Invalid literal for integer says, hey, I couldn't make that conversion. I couldn't do that. Well, later on, we'll see error handling and how to handle that. I can enter a value that's supposed to be a number, could be a float, and then I can convert it afterwards to an integer if it's supposed to be an integer. Now I'm going to copy this again. Let me change this and say float. So I want a float. I can do the conversion when I do the input. So if I say float input, that will do the conversion at the same time. And if I print it and look at the data type, well, we've got now it's converted that number, the 33, to an integer on that first input, or after that first input. Now at the same time I'm going to enter a float, it will do the conversion and it says, hey, it's a class float. So I can convert it at the same time. And if I'm asking the user to enter a number, I'm normally going to do the conversion at the same time they enter it. I could have, with the integer, the first one, I could have said int parentheses, input, enter your favorite number, close parentheses, and that would have done the conversion at the same time, like with the float. So that's how we can enter data into our program and then work with that data. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe.